Come back. Thank you for staying with us. Just a reminder of who our guest is tonight. With me in studio is a former minister of the Jubilee government and partly the Kenya Kwanza government. Simon Chelugui is with me in studio. We're making sense of the dissolution of the cabinet last year, inspired by the Gen Z-led protests. And as we finish on that, Waziri, I made mention of some of the cabinet ministers, some of your former colleagues who were appointed by President William Ruto. Some have equally, publicly, hinted at him being a one-term president. The former Education Cabinet Secretary, Ezekiel Machogu, for instance, who served in the cabinet you sat in. You say you are not bitter with the president and you have a cordial relationship with the president. There are debates of terms, some saying one, others two. Where do you sit in that spectrum?
As I said before, if you go back to 2005, President Mwai Kibaki came to power through a coalition of parties. And in 2 years, he had become very unpopular. We had a referendum of the orange and the banana, and he lost, and he ended up dissolving cabinet. However, after that dissolution, he picked up from where he had lost, dusted himself, pulled up his socks, and soldiered on. By the time we are getting to the next election, everybody voted Kibaki. Even myself, whom I had voted against before. So I believe the same case applies to the current president. The first 2-3 years is normally very challenging, and not just in Kenya. Even in the US, if you check now, the popularity of the current president is at the lowest. But progressively, a number of issues will fall in place. The programs, policies have been formulated policy for the last 8 years and implemented. It's normally not easy. And
you say progressively. He's 3 years in office now.
Yes.
We are less than 2 years to an election. Does he have that time to correct the wrongs?
Most of the issues that the foundation he has laid and this administration has laid, including what I did myself, like the coffee sector, the water, and all the labor issues, you've seen them now fall in place. So I believe, I trust and believe that within this year and maybe next year, Kenyans will come to appreciate the kind of leadership this administration under President William Ruto portends, and focus is clearly on the hustler, on the bottom of the pyramid. Look at the housing. Look at the issues of fuel. Look at the issues of the shilling. They may look they look distant, but indirectly affect every Kenyan. So if we solve those issues, including a model, a university education model, it looked disruptive in the past, but over time it's falling in place. And I think when that is felt and understood, Kenyans will appreciate this as a good progressive administration.
And you say when that is felt, some say time is running, that these programs, though some noble, may not be understood by their intentions.
I come from a community of marathoners, sometimes 42 kilometers or 21 kilometers. The winning is not in the first laps. The winning is the last stretch. That energy, the finishing energy, the power to finish, to cross the yellow line, that is what counts.
And you believe the president has that power to finish and get a second term?
I see that coming.
And in your stint at cabinet, was there any worry everly about terms of the president being 1 or 2?
The past or the current?
The one you are part of, the latest.
The latest.
Yes, which is...
I think I left just at the beginning of the administration. That is the first 2 years when this reaction started coming. So I think for now, the young people and the country is coming down. They are beginning to understand and appreciate what's going on. Remember last year, the dollar, where was the dollar? Where's the cost of fuel? Where were we on interest, bank interest? Many Kenyans are borrowing either in small scale or big scale. The rates were ranging between 18 and 21%. That has a lot of impact on the cost of doing business, cost of living, and many others. So all that has come down. So there's progress.
The Kenya Kwanza government, which you served as a cabinet minister, came to office with a near fanatical following of a hustler narrative that swept across in the 2022 elections. That turned barely 2 years into a sort of a rebellion by the people. Objectively looking, as an outsider now who has been in the cabinet, where do you think the government you are part of got it wrong, maybe? To attract and warrant the anger of Kenyans.
I think the expectations of Kenyans were very high. And there's a difference between the plan and the action. The plan is ambitious, the plan is big, and is focused on, it's like a Marshall Plan to transform this country from middle income to high income. Mm-hmm. The other countries that we benchmark ourselves, Malaysia, Singapore, the Asian tigers, had a similar revolution in their administration. So sometimes in the beginning of this administration, a number of programs were being rolled out, and maybe it was too many, too fast. Mm-hmm. So the speed has now become normal. We had housing levy, we had SHA issues on medical, and we had even savings, NSSF savings, which I participated during the transition in enforcing the Act, 2013 Act, on increasing the amount of savings and through NSSF. So people are bound to react.
You say the plan was grand in the sense that this was Kenya Kwanza's manifesto.
Correct.
It tagged the plan.
Yes.
Some say the plan was over-promising Kenyans of things that couldn't be achieved over a period of 5, even 10 years.
Yes.
Was it over-promising?
I sat in the formulation of this administration manifesto formulation. We would sit up to 3 a.m. in the morning trying to formulate each of this. And this is not over-promising. This country has a bigger promise than where we are right now. However, for people to catch up, I think what we missed at that time was rallying the people, rallying the population, moving together. Maybe the leadership and the people were running at different lanes. Mm-hmm. So what we missed out was going back after the promise, going back to the people and running the cause together. That is where the disconnect began.
You served as a cabinet secretary for water and sanitation, labor and social protection, MSMEs and cooperatives, 3 dockets across Jubilee and Kenya Kwanza.
Very true.
What would you say and sum up as your key achievements in a minute?
In the water sector, I was able to move water coverage from 47% in 2018 when I took office to 54% when I exited that ministry in 2020. Mm-hmm. I was able to introduce reforms, far-reaching reforms. I moved water service boards to waterworks agencies and gave them the mandate. We were able to open up cities and towns like Kerugoya, Kutus, Kapenguria, Nandi Hills, in Mombasa, Kipevu, all that. This is the time sanitation was properly given the highest profile and allocation of resources, because out of 70%, out of any water supply, 70% of that goes to waste. So we must find a solution to manage that water. That is in the water sector. In the labor and social protection, I served at the most challenging moment. This is the time we had COVID visited us. And we were facing imminent job losses, closure of business. But through my initiatives and engagements with both the workers and also the employers, we came up with an MOU that was able to retain employees and was able to sustain jobs. We maintained the social industrial peace. Remember, in my time, there was no single strike, either for teachers, doctors, nurses, no single strike because of my working relationship with the workers. I would call every Secretary General for a meeting in my office. On the cooperative and MSME, remember, coffee has been our biggest foreign exchange earner. But over time, it has been relegated. I was able to bring up the coffee reforms, and today we recorded the highest pay. I was able to remove some of the bureaucracies that between the farmer and the coffee consumer. Today we are now experiencing the highest pay. I brought in seedlings, I brought in cherry advance, and we sensitize people. Everywhere you go now, including my home district, everybody is planting coffee.
And you paint a glowing picture of your achievements in as far as those ministries are concerned. You also saw the introduction of Hustler Fund.
Yes.
More than 23 million borrowers have not repaid yet.
Yes.
Looking back, was it a rushed idea?
Yes, I would say the implementation was very fast, but the idea is brilliant. We have so many Kenyans closed out in the financial inclusion. Financial access is a big challenge. And access to finance has been found as the biggest enabler to fighting poverty and growth of and human development. So by introduction of a Hustler Fund, the government was taking a straight jab on dealing with issues of financial inclusion. However, the reforms and the plans that I had put in place, which included linking the Hustler Fund to other instruments to be able to assure the repayment, has not been successful. We needed to create synergy between our digital networks so that we are able to also identify, isolate, and even train those who are lacking behind and promote those who are repaying the loan, because ultimately we want to transition them from hustler borrowers to mainstream banking
But with
borrowers.
that 23 million borrowers defaulting, many would argue, will they ever repay that money?
I still think, given a chance, they can repay. They could repay, because it all depends on how we sensitize them and how and the journey, the roadmap to transitioning to mainstream financial services. If you have hope that from here I'll grow to this level, you are motivated, more than motivated, to repay the loan. If there is no hope of benefiting from your good behavior, then you may not be inspired to pay.
Finally, let's talk of politics and the road to 2027. I was going through your social media. You congratulated the UDA senatorial primary winner for Baringo. You come from Baringo County. Does Simon Chelugui, a former cabinet minister, have political ambitions in Baringo County?
Yes, I have political ambitions in Baringo. I have contested twice in Baringo. I believe leadership is a journey of growth. And whatever the journey that I've traveled has taught me many lessons, have given me insights. When my aspirations in leadership is not just now driven by ambition to lead, but now the difference I bring is the experience I've gained. I've been able to formulate policy. I've been able to implement, roll out, I build networks and partnerships at national level, international level, and those are qualities that I believe and skills that I believe can be handy in service. And
in a nutshell, you are saying, yes, you have political ambitions for Baringo.
Yes.
Which position specifically?
I would run for the position of governor, Baringo County, in 2027.
And this Senate contest is pitting UDA versus Kanu, Gideon Moi versus the UDA candidate Kiprono Chemitei. What is your observation in that race?
As a founding and ranking member of UDA, we have now made a choice. We have a candidate in the name of Vincent Kiprono Chemitei, and the other party is Kanu as Gideon Moi, and we also have another candidate by the name, an advocate by the name Jeboy. All these candidates are sons of Baringo. As a party, we have made our choice and presented a candidate, and we'll be duty bound to support and campaign for him to succeed.
Simon Chelugui is a former cabinet minister, both in the Jubilee government and the Kenya Kwanza government. You still insist that your relationship with the president is intact. You're not bitter of him firing the cabinet you are part of.
Yes.
Thank you very much for making time for us tonight on TV47.
Thank you so much, Abubakar. I wish you well. I look forward to another opportunity to speak to Kenyans about their achievements and also the plans that I had in both the Ministry of Water, Cooperatives and MSME, and possibly give a word of advice. Having served for 8 years, I have a lot on my sleeves.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And because of the interest of time, we will welcome you to this program in other days, other Mondays. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Simon Chelugui is a former Water and Sanitation Minister, former Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary, a former MSMEs and Cooperatives Cabinet Minister. Let's get to the world of business.